Well, as Sandeep mentioned, my name is Paul Baez. I know you heard earlier from Oren that he had the best job in Kenshue, but I beg to differ. I think I have the best job in Kenshue because I get to work with all of our top clients and work with all of our biggest partners. So I'm happy to be here with you guys today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the opportunity with mobile apps and also Apple Search Ads. So thank you. But first, let's get a little personal. So in my household, we sort of divide and conquer. My wife takes care of all of the meals during Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I take the meals. But keep in mind, that also includes breakfast and dinner, so it's fair. Unless I cheat and decide to take us out for dinner, which I do sometimes, but it's all fair. But the one thing I've learned the hard way is that getting your family, especially your kids, to the dinner table, it's tough. You need at least 20 minutes lead time to make that happen. So even if you are successful in getting the family to dinner, by the time they get there, you're either hoarse from screaming their names multiple times across the field, or dinner's cold. So I have an idea for you guys. Next time, try this. Instead of shouting across the building, take a picture of dinner and put it on Snapchat or Instagram and send it to them. Guaranteed to reduce that 20-minute wait time to 5. And I think that translates to like a 400% ROI. Yeah. Give it a shot. So, we all know mobile's big. So why are we talking about something you already know? Specifically, what's changed in the last couple years? Well, let me tell you. The first thing is that we are seeing some big differences as far as how people engage. Now, when we often think about time spent on mobile, but it's really time spent on mobile apps. When you look at time spent on mobile, actually 95% of that time is on an app. And that's increased nearly, it's nearly doubled in the last 3 years. So we're also seeing some really good mobile-first, traditional mobile companies really start thinking of some innovative ways to drive breakthrough engagement. And let's share with you a couple examples. First, Domino's, a long-standing brand we all know and love. Customer preferences, we all know they continue to evolve and shift. But sometimes it feels like we turn to our phones to avoid being bored. The minute we order a pizza, it feels like it's not just my family, but whoever we have over for dinner that night is pinging me every 5 minutes. Is the pizza here yet? Is the pizza here yet? So it almost feels like us adults have become the kids in the back seat asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? This is what we're up against. So back over to Domino's. Now with Domino's, we used to have, let's say, in ordering pizzas, maybe 2 engagements at best. You pick up the phone, you order your pizza, and then they show up at your door. But now, in the mobile space, these engagements, the real engagement starts after you order the pizza. So here's how it plays out. As soon as you make the order, we start getting texts every couple minutes. Pizza's in the oven. Pizza's coming out of the oven. Pizza's on the truck ready for delivery. All until they show up to your doorstep. So, and during that process, everyone's checking the app. Is it here yet? What's going on? They're also taking advantage of all the upsells and cross-sell opportunities, ordering breadsticks, dessert, or soda. So again, those 2 engagements have now turned into over 25 in terms of the mobile app experience with Domino's. The next example is around Peapod. Peapod is a grocery delivery app which allows you to go ahead and create shopping lists and share them with friends, family, or create a group cart where you can all shop together until the personal shopper alerts you and says, hey, let's shop. And during that process, they're engaging with you through the app, telling you of what's out of inventory, out of stock, or giving you recommendations for alternative products, sharing with you deals, until that person shows up on your doorstep. A truly engaging experience. And I speak from personal experience that I think when my older son moved away from college, I talked to him more through this app than I do over the phone. Super engaging. Now, going back, these types of mobile engagements are creating breakthrough levels of engagement for consumers. And they're changing the way that consumers want to engage and interact. So the key question I'm sure you're all asking now is, okay, so how does advertising fit into this? How is that going to help me drive more engagement through my mobile app? Well, let's show you. The first thing is that when we look at Q4 of last year with Apple Search Ads, we saw some nice growth. We saw Q4 really pick up as it should. Now, normally, from a seasonality standpoint, we would expect everything to drop, everything to come down. But in Q1, following Q4, we saw a 20% increase. So we knew we were seeing some good demand, but we've been quite surprised by the demand we're seeing around Apple search ads. So we decided we already had support for Google's Universal App campaigns, app install ad formats from Pinterest, from Facebook, from Snapchat, and now we have support for Apple search ads. But we wanted to take it one step further. We wanted to make sure that we were maximizing on this opportunity. So we forged a strategic partnership with Apple search ads, and we continue to be amazed and excited by the demand that we're seeing out there in the marketplace. Now, the final question I'm sure you're asking is, what exactly is Apple search ads? How do I take advantage of it? I'm going to show you in one quick step. So first, go to the App Store. In the bottom right-hand corner, you see a little search box, a little search icon. Click on that button. Plug in your search query. In this case, we typed in public ride sharing. Now, normally, you would actually expect that your search result's going to come to the top of the page, but you can see Uber here is showing up on top because they're promoting their app. Now, nothing should change in terms of your focus on really focusing first and foremost on your organic installs. In fact, according to Tune, one of our marketing analytics providers and partner of Kensho, when you combine a paid advertising campaign with your organic is seeing about 148% increase in downloads. So definitely the combination, powerful combination. But ultimately, the benefit here is that Apple search ads becomes a very easy and intuitive way for consumers to promote findability of your app. Because think of it this way. As you're going out and searching for your app, even if there's a strong intent for your app, there's millions of other apps in the marketplace. How do you make sure that your app is front and center? This is where marketing can give you that big boost. So I'm going to leave you guys with a few questions for all you marketing leaders out there. Things to consider about, keep you up at night maybe. The first is, when you think about your marketing strategy, does it include app engagement across all relevant platforms, including Apple search ads? Next one, do you have a mechanism to easily take advantage of what's working well in one publisher and bring it to another publisher from an automation standpoint? And then 3, do you have the right automation and insights to really help you scale Apple search ads and other platforms? Well, don't hear it from me. As the next step, I'd love to bring up Gary Cook from Fetch, a digital advertising agency who works with some of the most iconic brands. He's going to give some of his own experiences. All right. Glad to have you, Gary.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a seat, sir.
Hello, everyone.
All right, Gary, maybe we can start. First of all, thank you for joining us today. We're super excited to have you on this warm, balmy day. But first, maybe we can start, get a chance to introduce yourself and your agency, Fetch.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Gary. I'm from the UK originally. Is anyone from the UK? Quick shout out. No, we'll move on. I've kind of lived around the world, so been in the UK, been in Australia. This is my first time working out of the US. So I joined Fetch around about a year ago. We're a digital marketing agency with our focus really being on mobile first. So the idea is that we like to put mobile at the heart of everything that we do. And we really see this as our kind of growth and our kind of niche in the markets to really help our kind of advertisers really grow their accounts. Just one thing in terms of what we stand for. So our kind of motto is measurably daring. What this means is that we really like to challenge the status quo. We like to be really creative in terms of how we come up to it with solutions. But we also we acknowledge the fact that they need to be results driven. And the idea is that we ensure that things are measurable as we go along. And it's my job as the search supervisor to ensure that happens for all our search activity. Across some of the major clients that we work for, such as Microsoft has just been on the stage, Hulu, Twitch, those kind of guys as well.
Awesome. So you're a mobile-first agency and a Kensho-first agency.
Yes, that's correct.
I love it. Okay, well, let's get into some of the details here. Let's talk about strategy. So you get a chance, as you mentioned, to work with some of the most iconic brands in the industry. Maybe you can help us understand, what are some of the more creative and innovative ways you're seeing around these companies trying to drive more engagement, as we discussed earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the bigger ones that we've done recently was for Minecraft. if anyone knows Minecraft, it's a very, very popular game, even after 10 or so, 12 years that it's been out. And still driving a lot of engagement for players who want to play within the app space. One thing that we noticed from which is very rare in the app space as well, is that not only is it a paid app, but we do get a lot of in-app purchases as well. And as you can imagine, this gives us a lot of data to work with. And one of the challenges that we had was the client can kind of see the value in terms of Apple Search Ads, in terms of users who pay for the app upfront. But the coins purchases was something that they found it really hard to measure in terms of the impact that had on top of what users also bought. So one of the cool things that we did from our data team was looking into customer lifetime value. So this was looking at the frequency and the recency of those purchases that people made from a coins point of view. And what this helped us to do, particularly from an Apple search point of view, if you think of a user who comes in from any kind of search, so whether that's like a brand search or something a bit more generic in terms of like other games that are out there, we were able to see just how many purchases that they made across a certain time period. Split that by OS, split that by geo, split that by channel. And by looking at this, we could really see which areas of the world, which areas of paid marketing were really driving those kind of frequent and more recent purchases within the app. And it was surprising because obviously a lot of our time, or a lot of previous strategy was based in the US. As you can imagine, there's a big pool of users from there, from a Minecraft point of view. But we found such countries as Japan, New Zealand, Australia, they had a lot more frequent purchases and a lot more users who would pay for more in-app activity. So again, this was really surprising for us, and it helped us really define what we could expect to pay for a user when they first came in, and really stretch that kind of that first interaction that we have with a user, knowing that they're more likely to play the app for longer and make repeat purchases within the app. So that was one of the cool things that helped us kind of redefine the strategy for Minecraft in particular.
Awesome. Well, definitely we see in the mobile space, work with a lot of different brands, but we find that those who are focusing largely on mobile apps, LTV is a must-have.
Correct.
Right? We all say it's important, but these guys are really making it front and center.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Great. Let's see. Let's keep going here. Industry. So, again, you guys are a few months in deep in terms of working with us on Apple Search Ads. What are some of the challenges you guys faced up front in terms of really trying to maximize the opportunity, and how did Kensho really play a part there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the two things that we identified was in terms of our processes around bid optimizations, campaign breakouts. With Apple, it's something that we can do, and we can do it at pace. But I think Kensho really took us to a new level with this. So I think a stat that we found before and after using Kensho was through things like bid optimizations, creating new campaigns, creating new creatives within Apple Search Ads. We probably spend around about 50% less time doing that these days, post taking Kensho on board. So that's very promising, as you can imagine, from an agency point of view as well, because that means we have a lot more time spent on strategy, and really plan ahead for our clients as well. So that was one of the really cool things that we were able to do straight away with Kensho. But I think the more crucial point for us was integration with mobile marketing platforms. So I know AppsFlyer here today, an example of those guys where we're able to see that data straight in the platform from a Kensho point of view, and we don't need to kind of stitch the data together from impressions and clicks right the way through to what happens within the app. We can see that right in the dashboard by using Kensho. Again, huge strength, and it means a lot less time is spent in the decision-making part, because you can see the results right there front and center within your guys' platform. And again, just a huge time saver on our end. That's really benefited the client in terms of more getting our heads up and trying to think ahead rather than spending time doing those kind of tasks, which we do daily, weekly, monthly on those kind of cadences.
Awesome. So that means we can get you home in time for dinner.
Correct.
And give you enough lead time to go ahead and get them to the table.
Yeah, probably not good for my diet, but.
And you guys, I'm sure you guys all heard today Zvika talk about our upcoming launch, our recent launch of optimization. Is that something you guys are exploring?
Absolutely. So it's something that I think, since it's just in beta now, it's something that we're definitely looking to get started with and hope for promising results. Because like I said, I think that's the next stage is definitely the automation side. That's really going to take us that extra step further. So just excited to get started and share results with our clients.
Okay, awesome. And we also learned recently, was it a couple months ago, that Apple started rolling out in, was it 40 plus countries? So definitely an opportunity you guys are capitalizing as far as what are the right markets that really resonate with my specific audience.
Absolutely. Going back to that Minecraft example, now there's a lot more countries that we can go after. Again, we can rerun the analysis and just see if there's any other new countries in terms of Apple Search that we can start testing on and really kind of branch out and make sure we're as efficient as possible across our KPIs.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, all right. We talked a little bit about scale, working with us. Maybe let's take a look at the future. Let's look at your crystal ball. Yeah. So you get a chance again to sort of really take a step back and really advise clients on strategy. When you take a step back and look at the next 18 to 24 months, I'm sure you see a lot of different trends, but are there specific ones that you think really stand out and that we should expect to see and get even more stronger over the coming 2 years?
Absolutely. I think there's two that I have in mind that I want to talk through. I think the first one, which is a bit of a taboo subject, is maybe around ad fraud. Certainly from a marketer's point of view, I think this is very, very crucial that we have these conversations with our clients and make sure that from not only ad fraud, but from a brand safety point of view, we are doing all we can to make sure that users are getting the right kind of message in the right kind of areas, but also that we're identifying the right types of people and avoiding things like click fraud. I think it's something that's become very, very crucial. I mean, we're trying to educate ourselves to be more knowledgeable on it so that when these conversations come up with our clients, we're in a good spot to kind of deal with that. But I think from an app point of view and how how different companies are using them, I think a good example of things that we've seen more recently, and obviously it's been touched on from a Gen Z point of view, but Gen Z is less likely to go after new apps. We see more and more as a trend that they are downloading the apps that they like, and they're less likely to try new ones. And this has been the case for, if you look at Uber, for example, Uber have started to already have the Uber Eats app embedded within the Uber app itself. So it's become more multi-dimensional in terms of their offering. And another example is things like WeChat. Obviously, WeChat started off as like more of a messaging device, but now it has like transactional opportunities within there. And I think that's something that we'll see as a trend more and more as advertisers try to consolidate and try and let users more have choice within that one app rather than having to kind of jump out of app to have different experiences from there.
Okay, so they're getting more holistic as far as how they service the customer and use cases they're working through.
Yeah, it's just making sure that they can use that opportunity to advertise that user in that space rather than having to wait until they exit the app and then maybe lose the intent from there.
Got it, got it. Just a quick clarification on the ad fraud. I mean, it's been around for decades, right? I mean, we've seen it around. There's specific numbers that are touted around what the size. Is there anything unique about ad fraud in the app space?
So I think we see it a lot in terms of like certain countries that it might stem for. I don't think it's too much unique about it. I think it's more about platforms being more open and more transparent about the data. So that goes right the way through from buying platforms down to the marketing platforms such as yourself and mobile marketing platforms. Really kind of sharing that data and being more transparent, like I say, just so that we can have those kind of awkward conversations with our clients and just make sure that we are ensuring that the data is legitimate that's coming through and we are showing up in the right spaces for our users. And I think that's something that will become more part and parcels with like the major buying platforms in the future and something that we should expect to have more conversations about in the next 18, 24 months, I'd say.
Okay, all right, makes sense, makes sense. Okay, well, I want to make sure that we're super excited and humbled to have you. You're a fantastic partner. Thank you, Apple Search Ads, for your partnership. And thank you for joining us today, Gary.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Definitely take advantage of it, Gary, here. Take advantage of his expertise and his crystal ball. Yep. All right. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much.
All right.